Welcome to Top 10 News Channel. We will talk about Top 5 Greatest Plot Twists in History. Number 5. The Statesman Who Wasn't Bluffing. When Julius Caesar was captured by pirates who didn't know who he was, they demanded 20 talents of silver for his freedom. Caesar was offended by the small amount, laughed, and told them to ask for at least 50, which they got. Caesar seemed to enjoy their company whilst he waited for his men to bring the silver the pirates had asked for, joining in with their games, and acting almost like he was of them. He often joked that he was going to have them arrested and crucified after they let him go, which they all found very funny and laughed with him, until they were arrested and crucified after they let him go. Please like and share and subscribe the button. Number 4. Diplomats slip up at the Berlin Wall. On the night the Berlin Wall came down, an East German diplomat named Gunter Schabowski had just returned back from a tiring trip to Poland, and was due to read an announcement about travel rules changing for a live press conference. Since he had just returned from Poland, he hadn't been fully briefed on the new rules, one of which was that East Berliners could apply for visas to go to the West for short trips, and wait until a couple of days after the announcement to apply and be accepted. The announcement was rushed and unclear, and started by saying things like liberalization of travel rules, blah blah, can now visit the West, blah blah. Schabowski hadn't read his speech before going live on air, and so he was reading this information for the first time. One journalist asked when these new rules would come into effect, and wanting to look prepared, Schabowski replied, immediately, now. This spread fast and caused people to gather at the wall, asking to be let out. There had been important protests before, but nothing as big as this. By coincidence, a border guard at the wall was preoccupied because he had recently been tested for cancer, and was waiting for his results. So, he didn't care enough about his job to stop the mass of people and opened the first gate, leading to the liberation of the people of East Berlin. Please like and share and subscribe the button. Number 3. Darius the Wizard Slayer. Darius the Great had a very interesting ascension to the throne of Persia, when he was caught red-handed standing over his dead predecessor with a knife. Of course, the Magi who discovered him began to call for the guards, as Darius had clearly just murdered the emperor. However, Darius claimed that he had not killed the emperor, as the man who he has just killed was a shape-shifting wizard. He claimed that this was not the real emperor, but an impostor who had done away with the emperor and took the throne for himself. The Magi consulted, and decided that Darius was telling the truth. Because why would anyone lie about something like that? They unanimously decided to raise Darius the Wizard Slayer to the throne of Persia. He became one of the greatest rulers of the Achaemenid dynasty, and was famous for his genius. This may have been due to the fact that everyone else was stupid enough to believe in shape-shifting wizard. Please like and share and subscribe the button. Number 2. Dian's Double Cross. Chevalier Dian was a French diplomat and spy in England and Russia. Once Dian retired, it was revealed to the public that they had been a woman the entire time. They were then made to wear female clothing because of societal expectations of women. They went on to write some books and support the American Revolution. But here's the kicker. When Dian died, the woman who was dressing the body for burial discovered that Dian was, in fact, biologically male, and had been a man pretending to be a woman pretending to be a man. Number 1. The British Revolution, or not. When the people of England rebelled against their king, Charles I, they were successful, had him beheaded, and put a new leader in charge, Oliver Cromwell. However, once Cromwell was given the position of ruler, the power got to his head, and he became exactly the same as the kings who had come before him, perhaps even worse. He was more controlling, committed genocide in Ireland, outlawed Christmas celebrations and all fun, and declared his son as his heir. What was meant to be a new beginning for the country was turned into a brutal dictatorship. And so the people of England rebelled once again, were successful, and shortly after, Cromwell died of malaria. The original heir of Charles I, Charles II, was appointed as king, restoring the monarchy. Despite already being dead, Cromwell was then beheaded himself for the beheading of Charles I, and his head was displayed on a pike and is pictured above. Charles II became one of the most popular monarchs in British history. Please like and share and subscribe the button.